Hi Pre-K, I'm back, but unfortunately I do not have time to do the dice game with you today. I have a meeting very soon, so I can't do it today, but don't worry, I will get to it. So I wanted to just post this very short video and read a book to you. The book is called This is the Challah. Who knows why I'm reading this book? I think you all do, right? More Melanie is going to have a challah making demonstration Zoom later on today. And I found this book in my house, so I thought it would be fun to read it to you. This is a book that has repeating words, repeating sentences. We've seen many books like that before. Why is repeating words, repeating sentences, repetitiveness important in pre-reading skills? Repetitive books are predictable. We've heard that word before, making a prediction, right? Maura Sharon uses that all the time. They're written, predictable books, repetitive books, are written in a way that make it easy to predict what might be on the next page. They repeat words, they repeat phrases, and they repeat sentences. Okay, so let's read the book. Now, Maura Melanie sent her ingredients to us, and I do believe Maura Sharon put it on your mommy's chat. So these ingredients might be a little bit different, but there are many different ways, I'm sure, to make yummy challah. Okay, you ready? It's called This is the Challah, and it's by Sue Hepker, and the pictures are illustrated by Amy Wummer. This is the challah. Whoops, wrong page, sorry. This is the challah that Grandma made. This is the water, and this is the sugar that went in the challah that Grandma made. Do you see what I mean? It's going back to saying what Grandma made. This is the yeast that frothed the water that went in the challah that Grandma made. These are the eggs that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water that went in the challah that Grandma made. Have we heard all these words already? We have. This is the sugar that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water that went in the challah that Grandma made. What's going on in this picture? These pictures. It's pretty messy, right? Baby's crying. He's a mess. This is the oil that softened the sugar, that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water that went in the challah that Grandma made. These are the hands that squish the flour, that thicken the oil, that soften the sugar, that sweeten the eggs, that whip the yeast, that froth the water, that went in the challah that Grandma made. You know what? My dog Carly likes challah. Maybe that's why she's barking. What is the sister, the daughter, doing? She's helping clean up because it was a really big mess, right? Always good to help your families clean up, right? These are the braids that were made by the hands. I'm not talking about braids that we put in our hair, in girls' hair. No. When we make a challah, we make braids, right? Sometimes. That squished the flour, that thickened the oil, that softened the sugar, that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water, that went in the challah that Grandma made. What is Grandma smelling? Yummy challah baking. This is the oven that baked the braids, the challah braids, that were made by the hands, that squished the flour, that thickened the oil, that softened the sugar, that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water, that went in the challah that Grandma made. And I guess their dog is also waiting for challah. This is the home that is warmed by the oven that baked the braids that were made by the hands. They're getting ready for Shabbat, right? That squished the flour, that thickened the oil, that softened the sugar, that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water, that went in the challah that Bubby made. Oh, excuse me, that Grandma made. The book actually did say Bubby. I changed it to Grandma. This is the blessing that is set in the home, that is warmed by the oven, that baked the braids, that were made by the hands, that squished the flour, that thickened the oil, that softened the sugar, that sweetened the eggs, that whipped the yeast, that frothed the water, that went in the challah, that we all made together. Okay, and here is the bracha. And when do we say this bracha? We say it at our Shabbat celebration. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And here is the family getting ready for Shabbat. There's the mommy, the daddy, the sister, the baby brother, and the grandma. Okay, so I know Mora Sharon always likes to ask the 5 W questions. What are the 5 W questions? Can you tell me? I know you can. Where, why, who, when, and what? 5 important W questions. So where is this taking place? It could be in Bubby's house, or it could be in the children's house. We're not exactly sure. Okay, why is this taking place? It's taking place because they're getting ready for Shabbat and they're making challah. When is this taking place? Well, we're not really sure. It doesn't tell us if it's daytime or nighttime because we're in the house. Okay. And so we did why, we did where, we did when. What is taking place? What's taking place? Challah making. And who is in the picture? I know you know the answer. Think about it. Okay, it's Bubby, the granddaughter, and the grandson, the baby. And who comes later into the picture? Mommy and Daddy. So all together, in the beginning, there are only 3 people in the story. And later on, there are 5 people in the story. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we made predictions. We listened to repeating words and phrases. And this book even has a challah recipe at the end. But I don't think I have to share it with you because Mora Melanie is making challah later. and she will share her recipe with your moms. So I'm so happy that I got to do this now, and I will see you tomorrow on our chat and our tefillah. And that's about it. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to do the dice game, the rolling die game today, but I promise we will get to it very soon. So have a good rest of your day. Try to watch more Melanie's challah making demonstration. And I miss you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.